Hey everybody. We're here tonight to talk about learned helplessness versus learned optimism. I'm Sherry Palmer with Fixed Family Courts. And why do you care about this topic tonight? Well, let me tell you. Because if you don't understand this concept, then you probably are suffering from it and don't have a way to overcome it because you're not looking at it, right? One of the issues is dealing with family court trauma and dealing with the constant barrage of changing issues like being served with motions, being afraid to answer the doorbell because it could be another service on something in your lawsuit. It could be that you're afraid to check Facebook now because you are finding that the other parent in the lawsuit is putting negative information about you out there. You might be alienated, and you see pictures of your children doing things you weren't informed about. The other parent not giving you information about tragedies that may be happening with the kid, medical appointments, all kinds of things are happening. It's stressing you out, it's wearing on you, and the next thing you know, you are stuck, not able to function, right? You're getting anxiety and stress and PTSD that could turn into more severe forms of PTSD, like complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So why you want to learn about this? Because it may be that you have fallen into that rut or that trap. It's the same trap that people fall into who suffer in abusive relationships, right? So let's understand what this is. Learned helplessness is a concept that domestic violence people use all the time because they use it as a way to explain why people don't get out of bad relationships. Have you ever had somebody you knew that was in a bad relationship and they just absolutely refused to get out of it? Or maybe that's the reason you're in the divorce. Maybe you're getting out of a relationship you felt was abusive, whether physical, verbal, or whatever it was, and now you're suffering additional abuse from the courts, which gets you back into that reactive cycle that you might have developed in your relationship, right? So they've done studies on animals that they've now proven also applies to people. And I talk about Mark Seligman's study because that's where it started in the 1960s, which he did a study that was an extension of Pavlov's study with dogs salivating when they heard the bell ring. He decided to see if dogs would run away from shocks when they heard a bell ring after he conditioned them to feel shocks when he rang a bell. And he found that if he kept them restricted and trapped where they couldn't escape, they eventually would just hunker down and just take it, right? How many of you did that in a relationship? Just took it and took it and took it. Well, what's happening is you have to find a way out of that cycle. We're going to talk about that today. This is the shortened version of the one that I did on Facebook, but I just wanted to make sure all of you had the benefit here to have discussion with me if you're going through this and if you have something to add. So the other thing that happens with learned helplessness is it makes you very, very sick. I've talked to a lot of parents who have developed physical injuries that have prevented them from continuing work or caused them to have to take lower positions in work and lose quite a bit of money every year because they can no longer do that other job. Some can't travel anymore. Some of them are just too stressed out to take on the responsibilities of the higher job, the level that they were at before. This might be you. If it is, I hope that you'll benefit by looking into these studies. So what is the opposite of learned helplessness? It's learned optimism. There's actually a TED Talk out there by Martin Seligman. I'm going to get a blog post up and I'll link all of those videos there. His video is useful for understanding the learned optimism part of it. But learned optimism, what they're finding is if you can convert these habits that you've learned, the way you respond to these stressors and change the way your mind is thinking about them, you can change the way your body processes them, right? So we all know that when you activate certain areas in your brain, you are activating neurons. And neurons grow the dendrites, right? It's kind of like tree roots. And the more those grow, the deeper the rut gets, like the easier they become activated, which is why when you experience these stressors over and over and over again, you are more easily activated. And then when you go to court, you're nervous, you're stressed out, the court then doesn't respond very favorably to you, right? So we have to change that. And the way we change that is by not using those pathways anymore. And I'm not talking about going in the mirror and doing self-affirmations or anything like that. I'm pretty lazy. I don't do morning affirmations, meditation, stuff like that. Probably because my brain adjusts to things and is very accepting of new ideas, and I do my changes through studies, okay, research and studies, and that's what I share with you. So for me, it's a faster process as well. I don't have to take particular time out. What I have to do is catch my biases, catch the cultural things that I learned, and use these methods to overcome them. So let me use an example. Okay, I taught a workshop a few Sundays ago in a new class that I'm teaching called Navigating the Family Law Process, which you can find in my on my website. By the way, it's fixedfamilycourts.com/membership. Go in there. We've been giving access to members who attend the workshops, access to that coursework. And the very first workshop, and I'm Sherry Palmer, by the way, that very first workshop, I gave out a homework assignment and nobody completed it. That's why I'm talking about this topic here today. I couldn't figure out what it was that prevented everybody from completing the assignment. I thought, oh my gosh, did I do a terrible job? What it turned out to be was this learned helplessness, right? It's stressful, for one, for people to watch court videos. Part of my assignment was to watch a court video on oral argument. The other part of it was to complete a simple worksheet on certain pieces of that oral argument, so that they could learn to make an argument themselves. And the other piece was I asked them to send me a video of them making the argument, so I could help them integrate the protections you get from the constitutional rights. But nobody got there. So what I learned is I have to give people assignments that are simpler, because if you can complete simple tasks, you can complete the harder ones. It gets easier to complete those harder ones. So I had to think about what might have been going through their heads when I gave them that assignment. They might have been thinking, oh, heck no, I am not going to watch another trial video. No way do I want to, or they could have been thinking, this doesn't help me. That's not what I'm dealing with right now, right? And so these were very limiting thoughts. These thoughts pushed them away from actually making progress through this course, which is going to help them get better outcomes. But it didn't matter, because they already had those deep pathways, and their brain makes those excuses because that's a safety mechanism for them, isn't it? They don't experience the trauma again. So they could have, and they're panicking, right? They feel like, oh my God, I need just this one piece of information right now, because I have to address the hearing coming up in the beginning of December. So they think they don't have time to learn it. And so I didn't address any of those things, and I didn't give them choices. So that's why I'm talking to all of you today, because if you're not in my course learning the material, I want to know why. Why aren't you in that course? Are you feeling like there isn't something there that's going to help you? Because people say constitutional rights don't matter. The judges don't use them, right? So are you allowing yourself to perpetuate those limiting beliefs and basically robbing yourself from the protection of your rights because you can't overcome that? Or you may be thinking, I'm not super in this, I'm not a lawyer, I don't want to be a lawyer, I'm just going to pay someone to do it because I have to work a lot, and there's just no way I'm going to get it, right? There's no way I'm going to understand this. This is very complicated. Sherry Palmer and Ron Palmer said they've spent years and years and thousands of hours putting this together. Oh my gosh, how can I ever get it? If you're thinking those thoughts, then put those away and change your mindset to, I'm going to just try this because Sherry's saying she's going to give it to me in bite-sized pieces. Plus, what I'm doing now is making sure that whatever emergency thing that you have to address right now, you're also getting the information for that as well. So while, yes, we're going to require that you learn all the pieces to this course, you will also be asked, what is it that's on your mind that's not letting you move forward in this next assignment, so that I can direct you to the resource to help you put out that fire, and you can manage your immediate case pieces while you are changing your mindset on accepting that there is another way to do this and that it's easy to learn, right? So the only thing that you're actually needing to do, sorry about, I don't know if you guys can hear these bumps or not, but sorry about that. I'm in my mobile office, so we drive across the country so we can meet parents like all of you, parents who learn from our materials, so that we can also spend time in person working through issues in your specific areas when we're out there. So how do you change some of your limiting beliefs? First of all, you tell me what some of them are. So any